This was a bad deal, man!
Shut up and move!
Which way?
Over here! On your mark!
I see it! I see it! We're almost there, man! Let's go! I'm sorry. I'm sorry! Come on!
Welcome back to the OPL. My name is Michael Hingersing, and if you're just joining us, AV are up 1-0 over Abyss in this best of 3. And also, if you're in high school, we want to plug something that is very important to us. It is the High School National Challenge, which we are running here, both in Australia and New Zealand, so you can represent your high school, get a team together, and there are more details available at ost.leagueoflegends.com. We were talking about this before, Mendrix. If I had this as a high school, I might have had more friends. And I feel like now it breaks my heart. I am 31 years old and can't enter, you know?
Well,
it's the only shot I have at winning a tournament of sorts.
Well, we're talking about, doing some cosplays. Maybe if we were to try and be a little bit cheeky, see if we can cosplay back into it, people might be more than happy to
Real
take
weird.
this in.
Super weird. Inero, coach of Tainted Minds. We're looking at AV and Abyss here today. Abyss kind of performing as like we thought they would. Phrase showing up, but the rest of the team, not so much. AV kind of just playing safe. What do Abyss need to do to get back into this series?
Abyss just need to do something. Literally anything at the moment. That game, they had a pretty good comp. They had like a submarine thing. Like, even though it's Kha'Zix having to jump in with Shin ult to do it, I still think that's something to do. They started trying it, but the first attempt was like 28 minutes in. At that point, the game's probably decided. They need to just put Frey on something that's going to be able to make plays. I know Frey's a good Orianna, and like I love watching him play it, but I don't love watching him lose every game he plays on Orianna when he's fed. He needs to play something that they can push with and make him go to other parts of the map. I know Avant like to ban that stuff out, but if that's the case, pick it as early as possible. Like, Avant did a really good thing taking that Syndra and then banning the other mid laners away. So it kind of sucks for drafting, but Abyss need to take a mid laner he can do something good on early and just stick to that and try to snowball off Frey.
Well, Mendrix, on that point, we see them banning out the likes of, I think we saw LeBlanc banned out, and we didn't see Ryze banned out, but you can't pick Ryze, obviously, into Syndra. Yeah. So what's left? Corki was banned. I mean,
Corki was banned out. It's really hard, really, in that situation when all the bans, all your options are taken off the table. And so what you have to do is pull up a trump card. We know they're going to focus on Frey. So, all right, how about we change it up? Let's put a pick they haven't practiced, they haven't gone into, again, as in like they've practiced themselves, or Abyss has practiced themselves that no one knows about. And we might say like a Zed, just to completely change everything around. You need to throw a wild card in there, so that way it puts AV on tilt, and they won't be able to deal with it. Another thing they could do is probably try to move around the map. Say, go for something that you know Pac-Man is strong on. Like, even though it's possible that we're not expecting an assist, why not just throw it in there? If nothing else is really working at the moment, you need to give something that he's comfortable on. You need to give something that everyone else is comfortable on, because we know they're going to ban out Frey. So let's try to prop somewhere else around the map. Just change it up a bit. You need to work with something if the first strategy isn't working.
So your options are Zed, Nasus. in top lane. That's what
That's a simplified way to put it, but you know what? Like, if it means that they've got a chance to like throw AV into like a bit of disarray, yes,
so you want them to pick up these crazy picks, just like roll the dice. Let's go. What do you got to lose?
Exactly. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're going to roll over and not be able to do anything anyway, we'll at least have some fun with it.
Yeah. In Arrow, thoughts? If you can't win, just have some fun.
I mean, I guess, yeah. I don't even think they needed to try to do a crazy pick that game. Cassiopeia was still available.
Yeah.
Cassiopeia pressures Syndra hard early. Like, you can win trades with that. I think maybe he's just not comfortable enough to play it. But at this point, like, screw comfort. Like, you have to try to win. You have to do something that's going to win. So
all or nothing. All right, that is Abyss. Can they take a game back off AV, who are up 1-0 over them? We're about to find out. Let's get into game 2 with our casters, Spawn and Fish.
That's right, as we're about to, flashing back here. We're about to find out.
Glitch in the Matrix, everyone run.
We're about to find out if Abyss can come back in this best of 3 series. Avant Garde are currently 1-0 up. We're about to get into game number 2.
Yeah, and I like the fact that my coaching was called into question earlier, and all of a sudden, 3 weeks into the season, both analysts are just calling for straight up cheese to win a game. So, maybe glass houses and stones, something along those lines. I don't know.
Start throwing them, Spawn.
I don't
see if they hit.
I don't even have a house.
Not the house. Throw the stone, Spawn.
Mate, do you know in today's economical disaster that is Sydney, how long it's going to take me to save for a house?
How long is that, Spawn?
I have no idea. I'm sure my account can figure it out for you. Too many avocado
toasted avocado sandwiches
for breakfast. Never going to get it.
Yeah, Hingers needs to stop eating those ones too. Always walks around with them. Tilts me. For now, that we are into Champions Select for the second match between Avant Garde as well as Abyss Esports. And already Zyra being banned out by AV Poppy. Actually going to hit the bench here, nice and early.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, they maybe expect Pac-Man to go towards hard engage. They feel like they don't have to ban away the OPs this time around. So, actually going for that. I actually think that one of the strategies I want to see out of Abyss right now is stop banning OPs. Target ban a couple of things, leave Rengar, LeBlanc, everything open, and just throw the gauntlet at triple. Because what you want to try and do is get Frey on LeBlanc and then just smash mid lane. They're not going to do it. I was so excited. I was like, this is the gauntlet that I want to see. Yeah, nah, goodbye. Catch you later.
Instead, they banned LeBlanc. One final OP of Rengar still left up. See if Red Side decided to ban that one out
Yeah,
too.
he's going as well. I mean, you don't just leave one up. That's just
silly.
Idiotic, I was going to go with. You're silly.
That's true.
Your socks are ridiculous.
My socks are amazing.
Oh, they actually banned Rengar on blue side.
Oh. So we have to see what the final ban from Abyss is going to be. See, everyone just
Jace?
turns their heads towards the coach. Coach, what are we better now?
Jace.
Rengar's gone. Jace should be that final ban. You've seen how dominant the pick can be, and there it goes.
I fight for a brighter tomorrow.
Immediately, the lock-in of Kha'Zix comes out for Avant Garde. Seb won't be having a repeat performance on the bug. Seb will have to see what he's going to take into Chelby's Kha'Zix.
Now, it's interesting that we're seeing Kha'Zix still prioritized quite high, even though it hasn't had the best strike rate so far today. It's one of those things that have to track as we keep going. The more lethality that comes in, the harder it is to play squishy junglers, just because they get blown up relatively quickly by all these 80 carries and mid laners that are carrying that specific stat.
Now the Abyss decides to lock in Jhin as their 80 carry of choice. A lot of teams have been going towards the 80 carry supports and junglers during their first pick rotation.
Yeah, and you heard that Nero cried out for maybe get Frey an early pick in the draft, just because of the fact that, they're banning a lot of mid laners the second time around. Right now, only really the LeBlanc and Jace are gone. He's got the pick of the litter with everything else. And Arrow wants them to get a mid laner before it goes into second round bans, where they really did start targeting him out last time. So we'll see whether that does happen.
Malzahar was locked in already for Abyss. A very strong support for Kuden. He has not been performing well lately. Last game, picked up the Lulu, died a couple of times in lane as well.
But I feel like that looks like it's Kuden's fault, right? But I feel like a call comes from somewhere or freeze the wave. And if the wave is like 8 minions strong, freezing it has always got an inherent risk, especially if they haven't completed recall. So I do agree, Kuden didn't play terrifically that game, but that one call that made him look kind of silly may not necessarily be his fault. I mean, that's just a situation where, like, And it happens all the time. You call people into gank, you call for a wave freeze, and you're like, I'm probably going to die doing this. And everyone's like, nah, you're all right. If it's not their life, they don't really care whether you die. And then, yeah, you just get cleaned up.
Sounds like when I play with you, all the calls them.
Not at all. I am a silent League of Legends player.
This is a lie.
We're in the middle of a pick ban phase, Fish. Concentrate.
For now, though, Triple has picked up his Syndra, so we're going to see a repeat performance coming out from him. And we also saw the Varus being locked in earlier for Blinky, one of his most played champions. In fact, it is his most played champion so far. Frey, this time around, is going to be picking up Corki.
Certainly is. Corki going to be taken into that mid lane. A little bit of a pseudo poke comp coming out. See what they give to Pac-Man to supplement it. I want to see a Doge. I mean, imagine if AV lost against Nasus.
Ooh.
Then Kobe would go nuts. That would be hilarious.
Who does he support then? Does he still support Jake? Does he support Pac-Man?
I don't know. I'm sure he'll tweet at you and let you know. He tweeted at me before and fired some shots.
Ted versus Kobe. Let's go. The real money match of the OPL. For now, though, we have the second ban phase going through here. Fiora, first ban coming out from Abyss. We've seen a lot of second rotation Fiora bans lately. Elise being banned out by Avant due to the fact that Abyss have not picked up their jungler. We have seen a lot of junglers being very outly spoken about Elise doing well into that Kha'Zix.
And this time they actually have last pick on the Abyss lineup side. So if they do go tank, then they can take that Susan up into the top lane. I would expect this to be a jungle pickup right now. Something like an Elise I'm feeling for Seb. He is a very good Elise player. Potentially also Lee Sin. He's got an alright lead.
And again, we get the Elise Ivan ban against the team that has not picked junglers. Kennen and Fiora taken off the table. Might force Abyss to pick up the Lee Sin here. Rek'Sai is still available if they want to throw the gauntlet. But they have been swapping through a couple of picks, and they will settle for that Lee Sin. Now Avant's turn to pick something up. Misfortune still available as a support. Let's see what they decide to settle for. No, Blinky, you are not playing one of those AD carries.
Yeah, I expected to see something really standard here, like a Maokai Misfortune, as you said. They're not a really crazy pick ban team, Avant. It's more when they get onto the Rift and they play very heavy topside focus, that changes a little bit. In saying that, I also like the 2v2 that they have mid lane. I mean, if Syndra ever gets a stun on Corki, Chelby can certainly jump in there and help blow him up.
Waiting for the final pick for Advance should be Jake's support. Seems like they're going to go for Karma.
That's a little bit different. I like Karma because it speeds up the initiation and also gives Kha'Zix something to jump in with. Helps push in the 2v2 as well, so if they think that they can just get a push advantage and really nullify the Malzahar that way, it'd certainly be worthwhile. This is a pocket pick for Pac-Man, so that is a legitimate hover right now, the Swain. Trundle also a very big Pac-Man pick.
And that's what they're going to lock in. They're taking Trundle into the Maokai. The tank against the anti-tank in the top lane for Pac-Man.
And this is why I also think that, you know, Pac-Man, he's willing to first pick, like, tanks over and over again. But he has a much deeper champion pool than people give him credit for. I mean, he hovered the Swain. He has Lissandra also as a big mage top lane. He plays the Trundle. As we have already said, he has things like Singe, the Nasus that are pretty anti-tank as well. So I honestly think that, you know, he picks a lot for composition, and this time around, they actually give him a carry to go toe-to-toe with Series up in the top lane.
Let's see how he uses this Trundle. I haven't seen him too much. He was played very popularly as a support last year. He's flexed in the top lane from time to time. Does well against single tank lineups. Subjugate's going to do well against Maokai. Series not going to have all the resistances that he buys later on in the game.
It's great against one tank teams. So when you have a look at it, really the only person that's going to be building tank is Series, and everyone else is like kind of pseudo-tanky. I mean, they sit in the Maelstrom, they get the shield that comes out of Karma. What that means is that Trundle ults your tank and runs past him. He takes all those tank stats with him into the back line. Your team blows up their tank because all of a sudden he's got no resistances or armor, and then Trundle's just an unkillable monster running around beating on people with his club. So it's a really fun composition. If they have two tanks, the way they mitigate that is, you know, one holds up the Trundle and like that's the one that generally gets altered. The other one goes past and really disrupts your backline. So it's Trundle's good against one tank compositions, which is exactly what AV is running right now.
Yeah, and it's, like you said, pocket pick coming out for Pac-Man. We have seen him play it before. We'll have to see if he can still play it up in the top lane against Series, who is becoming one of the better top laners in the region as well.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, he's a young kid. I mean, we've already talked about his communication seems to be on point. He called in a good gank last time around for First Blood. So I'm excited to see how he goes. In saying that, you said hopefully Pac-Man remembers how to play Trundle. He's a point-click auto-attack reset top laner. I say this over and over again. Auto-attack reset, one of the first thing you learn as a pro player. Don't worry about that, Fish. He's got this one under control.
What's that? We have got on to Summoners for the second match between Avant, Garde as well as Abyss. But before we get into the action, let's check in with Hingers, who's with one of the coaches.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Pinch, and I want to start by asking you about the Poppy ban. We've seen people trying to target out Frey, but this is obviously at Pac-Man. Are you just worried about him on tanks?
Not really. It's not really a target ban at Pac-Man specifically. The Poppy ban was more to force them to ban the Jace, because we knew that they're scared of Jace because they banned it on blue, which not many teams do. So banning Poppy is like the obvious top lane counter, so it's just so we can force them to ban Jace.
Right, and also with the Rengar ban, you weren't confident that they would ban it, and you guys just didn't want to play it?
Basically, that's part of the same rotation. So forcing us, like, if we ban Rengar, that means that they have room to ban Jace, and then we get Kha'Zix, because we don't want 3 picks open because they have red side, so then they can take 2, and we only get 1. So we'd rather just like get those OPs off the table.
Excellent stuff. All right, well, best of luck in this game, and thank you for speaking to us.
All right, thanks so much.
So we just heard there from their coach, you know, trying to force the ban of the Jace worked. No Poppy in this match either, so you know, drafting very well in the second match against Abyss. You're going to see the junglers both start on the top side of the map. Seb will take a red buff to kick things off. We will have Chelby starting on his blue.
I get it, because he's Lee Sin. Kick things. No. All right, cool. Anyway, this is a really important game for Seb because he had quite a quiet performance on the Kha'Zix, one of his favorite champions at the moment in Game 1. So we'll see on Lee Sin a little bit more of an old throwback for him, whether he can get it going, as already Pac-Man is wailing on
Fight
Sirius.
me, says Pac-Man.
Sirius says, no, get off me.
Or meow. Also works. For now, Triple in the mid lane against Frey. You can always see Frey positioning himself quite far back. Both of them just content with farming for now. In the bottom lane, it's Blinky and Jake against Raid and Kuden. We've already seen Blinky and Jake rain havoc in their bottom lanes, making sure that they constantly push this one out, poke away at the opposite AD carry. Raid already took a beating last game. Started with Doran's Blade this time around and a single health potion, so not going to have as much regeneration in the bottom lane. Will have to keep himself nice and topped off through auto attacks. As Shelby is sneaking around the bottom lane here, but will get spotted out by the Scuttle Crab. Where is it? Oh, there. Hello.
He jumps
Run!
away from it as well. I'm under attack.
Oh, the bug is scared of the Scuttle Crab.
Of course. Scuttle Crab best bug.
Yeah, most executions.
Or is it a crab? No one knows.
Well, it is called a Scuttle Crab.
That is true.
Meanwhile, Seb's going to be able to take away all the raptors as they do
Does
spot
it
out
look
Shelby.
like a crab, mate?
It does.
Not really.
It eats the little fruits with his little
What
claws.
has that got to do with what it looks like?
He's got claws. He's an armored little
you're
thing that
actually
runs around the river.
insane. Yes, it is an armored little thing.
Meanwhile, on the top side of the map, series incredibly low on mana here. No more crafting potions for the Maokai. Trundle still sitting on 1 and looks like he's trying to freeze up the wave, but good push coming out from the tree allows him to get a good back in here. Jake and Blinky doing a good job dealing with the Voidlings so far, making sure they constantly take them down whenever they're spawned by Kuden. But again, very quiet match. But as I say that, Frey taking quite a bit of damage in the mid lane, tries to turn it around, but Triple not afraid to turn around and fight back.
Yeah, and when we used to see Corki in the mid lane a lot, the way you used to tell whether he was winning or losing a lane is how many times he had developed, as all of a sudden, in goes Seb.
Yep, so looking for a fight on towards Triple, lands the Sonic Wave and the Resonating Strike, but look at all the minions battering down onto the Lee Sin. The final Dark Spear might be enough. There's the auto attack. Shelby jumps in, gets the spikes down, looks for Frey, forces him to flash as well. Shelby gets first blood for Avant Garde.
Yeah, that's just another really good read, and that is a horrible turnaround from Frey. He should have flashed nearly immediately when his jungler was in there and got the exhaust down. Instead, Seb tried to save his lane because he was getting bullied so hard and falls down in the process.
This allows Shelby to take away Seb's jungle on top of that, taking down the Raptors, leaving a small one as well. A little bit mean in that sense, but you take a look at that fight again, it just looked like it was going to be Triple getting taken out, but he turns it around with that massive minion wave.
Yeah, exactly right. And I mean, you see the exhaust go out now, but that's really too little too late. If you flash forward, you're going to be able to get much more done. Instead, he has to flash at the end regardless. As, it looks like, actually, Shelby was able to pick up another kill.
Hello.
This time onto Frey, and Frey also picked up a response. You see that Shelby was underneath the turret, so I'm assuming that was a dive.
Something happened there. You can see already Frey's gone back to base, picked up bits and pieces of his build. Looks like he wants a Hex Drinker nice and early. We've gone for a Ruby Crystal 2. Lost Chapter already picked up by Triple. That's a big purchase for the Syndra.
Yeah, a little bit of the variety bucket coming out from the Corki at this stage of the game.
As Pac-Man's already clubbing away in the top lane. Siri is going to get ganked here by Seb. Does have Flash available, but no Twisted Advance. Flashes early and avoids the Sonic Wave. Gets back to safety.
That's a little bit of communication, because as soon as he flashes, you can actually force him to go to a side with the pillar, as we have a look at what actually happened. So Shelby goes in underneath the turret, just jumps on him and kills him. Will fall down. That wasn't as exciting as I thought it was going to be. I expected a pistol at dawn showdown or something along those lines, but wasn't really the case.
Nope, they both drew and killed each other at the same time. Nothing much happening there. Weak. On the mid lane break.
The play-by-play commentator is just calling out members of the OPL left, right, and center.
You see Triple there, just farming up in the mid lane. Jake taking quite a beating down here. Cruden forcing him away. Back to the turret he goes. Blinky and Jake getting pushed back for the first time, it seems, in this series by Raid and Cruden. It's very even in the bottom lane. The CS discrepancies are in the mid and top lane at the moment. Triple just zoning out Frey. And Series having a difficult time farming up against the Trundle. Cruden's been locked down, but the Voidling's going to block the empowered Q from Karma. Just gives Blinky all that little fun.
Yeah, that's really annoying, as you can see on the back end. And they go in again in the mid lane.
Triple taking a lot of damage, but Sam going to get ulted here by the Syndra. One more auto attack's going to be enough, but he just doesn't have the range to get the damage down. Good counter gank coming out from Avant.
Yeah, real nice counter gank, but also a good force from Seb. I mean, they're pushing the right side of the map this time around, and they need to get Frey going, because he is down 25 CS. He only has 36 himself. I mean, that's a rather large portion, and if it just continues this way, they're going to bleed out.
It's going to give Triple time to head back to base. Well, he sees blue buffs up. Besides, that's a little bit more juicy at the moment. Needed to pick that one up for himself with that Lost Chapter. He shouldn't be running out of mana anytime soon. Shelby close to level 6 as well. We'll be looking to try and get those Void Assault ganks, especially with the upgraded Q.
I mean, I know it's really rough, but at this stage of the game, if you're Seb, you're level 5, you nearly take the blue buff yourself. Frey's not really having the best performance in the mid lane at the moment. As I said, down 32 CS. Only just going to get back in now. And you feel like if anyone's going to make anything happen at the moment, it is the Lee Sin. He's got a winning lane top this time around, as Pac-Man's actually putting on a really nice performance. And bottom lane's surprisingly even.
See Blinky and Raid going toe-to-toe, skirting around that trap that was placed down by the Jhin.
I mean, that was a little bit unfair, because Blinky could stand and deliver there, and Raid had to run back because the rest of the team was collapsing. He knew that Kha'Zix was in the river, he knew that the Karma was on the way down. So was never going to be able to get that fourth crit shot out, which would have swayed that little bit of a scuffle. You just got it on my mind now. However, now just forced back and going to be farming underneath the turret.
Still dead even between these carries. Serrated Dirk, Doran's Blade, and a Cole being picked up by both of them. Slowly though, Blinky will start to push in towards this Jhin. Top side of the map, Series catching up in CS against Pac-Man. He's gone for the Dark Seal against Tiamat, as Shelby just can't quite fight the Crux. Get him!
They just keep, they're like a Hydra. Like as you take down one, just more little stone things appear. Quite frustrating, that's all right. As you can see, Frey with the package. Maybe can look for a play for the first time. I like when teams do this, they time it very nicely. You can see Shelby, as well as the bottom lane of Blinky and Jake. As soon as they see that package on the map, just back away, push up their lane, you know, go back and get a free shop in for themselves. Don't really have any big purchases, but just one of those things that you don't want to overextend when you know the Lee Sin is on the bottom of the map and that there is a package available.
Well, we see a lot of teams from the LPL use the package in conjunction with Dragon Times, and it seems like that's what Abyss is trying to do here. Frey, instead of looking to try and take down that Dragon. Package has expired though, but it should be Abyss picking up first Dragon of the game. Yeah,
so first objective picked up, and even though they're behind 800 gold, you'd have to say a much more proactive early game out of Abyss so far. They're looking towards Pac-Man, however. They will spot him out now.
Ward is going to spot out Triple moving towards the top side of the map. Seb has not been spotted out. Sorry, Chelby has not been spotted out though, and he's gone for the long flank around Pac-Man. Stuck on even, so he's going to try teleport out. Has to cancel. That's a big mistake, and the big old Pac-Man's going to get taken down by Triple.
Yeah, it certainly is a big mistake. He thought it was only going to be 2 members. However, it turns out to be 3. Meanwhile, they want to respond in the bottom lane.
Frey's trying to jump on top of Jake. Does get exhausted. Can't go anywhere. Corrupting Chain's going to come out as well. Blinky does get locked down. Overstepped a little bit there. Raid gets a return kill in the bot lane.
All right, that's unnecessary. I mean, in that situation, you just back away. Instead, they step up and actually try and take the 2-for-2 fight. Another 2-member appear out of nowhere, and a really nice flash nethergraph there out of Kuden means that they will be able to pick up a turret in response. So 1 kill, 1 turret. Of course, first turret did fall for Avant Garde, but maybe a little bit of an overstay out of Blinky and Jake.
I think the only difference here in that trade is the fact Series has kept his teleport, so we could potentially see him use it across the map before Pac-Man's back up. For now, though, he's head down into the bottom lane, looking to just pick up bits and pieces of farm that have been left down here.
Yeah, this is really interesting. They've actually put their tank into the long lane, and he's got a 10 CS advantage. Looks like Pac-Man's going to have to take the long trek down there and try and catch the big wave. That means just it's inherently more dangerous for the Trundle as he pushes up. He doesn't have all those tank stats going at this stage of the game. I mean, he's only really a Tiamat. If Triple or even Chelby catch him out isolated, we'll be able to pick up a kill in conjunction with Sirius. A little bit of ARAM mid lane out of everyone else, Fish, while the top lane pushbacks.
Yeah, they've been practicing their howling with this thanks to Ocean Week. They got the double points in that map, slayed the monster. Fortunately, weren't able to help with the Rabbit Roo.
No, we got the Rabbit Roo.
Oh, we did get the Rabbit Roo.
Yeah.
It's the other guy.
It was the other guy. Rabbit Roo fell down.
I like to thank Razzleplasm for that one. He got on board and fought the monster through thick and thin.
It's important to band together for Ocean Week.
A little bit of a stalemate on the map so far. Avant do have a small lead at the moment of about 1,400 gold.
Harold just runs out of the pit.
Wandering around.
Yeah.
Who hit me? Found some Voidling friends. That's just, Harold's just a big Voidling.
He is. He's actually a massive Voidling. I want there to be a definitely not Harold, as we have a little bit of a scuffle bottom lane. Pac-Man being chased by 3 members.
He's flashed away from 1, but he doesn't see Chelby's right. No! Go! Bottom lane! They're fighting! Yeah, Pac-Man's dead! That's what I... Hello!
Yeah, all right, cool. So they pick up the kill, Fish. Looks like they're going to be able to push that one in. Meanwhile, mid lane is also being pressured on the Abyss lineup, as well as top. So trying to respond with some map pressure here to that kill.
Pac-Man's dead!
He is. You're correct.
Meanwhile, Jake's moved up towards the top side of the map. Raid and Kuda have rotated towards the top side, looking to try and take down that outer turret. Seb's going to be locked down, though. Sirius right behind him, gets the ultimate down and snares him as he tries to jump over the wall. Will get hit by that last auto attack. Sirius gets a kill.
Yeah, and that just means, you know, even cross-map when they're searching for objectives, they're not able to pick anything up. And instead, bottom lane turret goes down and they defend the other 2 areas with a kill. Really crucial play for AV right now. They're up 3,000-ish gold, and it doesn't look like there's really that linear game style of, you know, send the Orianna in and be able to catch someone out. This time around, they've got kind of a poke comp, and when poke comps get behind, even when they have a split pushing aspect, they generally stay behind.
It seems like Avant last game, they were able to just stay in their lanes for an extended period of time and constantly just push out 1 lane at a time, trying to attack every single weakness that Abyss had. This time around, accelerating things a little bit faster. As you mentioned, 3,000 gold up already, 14 minutes in. And already taken down 2 of the outer turrets. Mid lane, the only one left standing. Dragon's going to be up in 1 minute and 30 seconds. Hawkeye will have the package ready at that time. We'll have to see if Abyss try to make a play.
I would like to see them go for it still. I think that, you know, if they get a good ultimate onto series and really buff up the Trundle, maybe they can look towards winning a team fight still. I mean, it's just so hard because Triple's a monster and you haven't even finished Trinity Force as of yet. Although they might have caught Chelby.
Package going to stop Chelby's jump there, forces him to flash away. I was about to mention Package was picked up early, so not going to have it for the Dragon, but they do trade it for a flash.
That's really nicely done. I mean, Frey's able to get in there, stop it up, although now needs to be able to dodge spheres if he's going to stay alive underneath this turret. And AV are just doing a really nice job of balancing the map, catching wave, making sure they're keeping up in CS everywhere, apart from really Raid, who's had a lot of time in that top side of the map just by himself as he's been chipping away. Everywhere else, really nice job of, you know, just keeping it nice and neutral, pushing in waves when they can, applying map pressure. And apart from Shelby kind of getting caught out there, this game has been pretty controlled for the Avant-Garde lineup.
And we can check in with the items that have been picked up by the two teams. Blinky, he's going more towards the lethality build that we've seen pop up recently since the changes to lethality. Has his late tier, which is also very popular in Varus. On the flip side, Raid just sitting on his Serrated Dirk and the Yoma's Ghostblade as well.
And I mean, the reason that the late tier is more popular is that you need something to be able to go even in lane. And then you don't really go towards the Metamune or the Muramana as a Varus. So it doesn't really transform very early. You're not an auto attacker the same way Ezreal is when you pick that up. So it's just all about getting the mana regen, the mana pool, so you can afford to get it a little bit later. As now Abyss making one of their first proactive moves, actually giving up a dragon, but looking to push very fast into the top side of the map and be able to continue pressuring down that lane.
So they tie up the turrets 2-2, but at the same time, Shelby will take down an Infernal Dragon, which is big for their team. Lots of ability power on the Syndra as well as damage on the Kha'Zix and Varus.
Yeah, I actually don't mind it, however, because there is some pretty good wave clear that comes out of, you know, Frey and Raid. Raid can just drop double bombs in the lane with the E from Jhin, and then Frey can just use the rockets to keep it out. And even with an Infernal Drake, Maokai's still not going to be able to stop Trundle late game. So it's just all about getting Pac-Man to the late game, and the only way you do that is through gold. So swapping a gold objective for a non-gold objective at this stage of the game, even if it is one like Infernal Dragon, is still a trade that Abyss can afford to take.
It's also allowed Frey to kind of bridge that gap, in his Power Spike did go for the Hex Drink early to try and counter Syndra, which means his Trinity Force was a little bit late, but has now picked that one up. Seb is also looking to try and build a Locket nice and early. They do have Kudin on Malzahar, so they should be moving towards more of a damage support build. So Locket is going to help Abyss out quite nicely, trying to fill the hole that the damage support doesn't provide. Corrupted Change can come out from Blinky, doesn't connect, forces the Valk coming out from Corki. Now Pac-Man looking for a fight. Jake does get locked down. Blinky going to take a lot of damage here. Has to be very careful because Sonic Wave has landed very low. Decides not to follow up. Said does not want to trade his life for that. Blinky taking even more damage. Has to get shielded up from the Deathfire touch. And Abyss fight back nice and strong. They stop the siege coming out.
Yeah, exactly right. And they even get the teleport for it. So now if they can keep mid lane turret up, they can send the Trundle back to a side lane, and Series has to stay at home. This is really nicely done. As I said, Abyss, they took a while to warm into this series, but it looks like they're finally making some proactive moves around Summoner's Rift. I don't know if everyone leaving mid lane is a good call, however.
Who's that about to point out? Everyone has gone from this mid lane. Avant still looking to try and push up this turret. A couple of attacks is going to be all it takes to take it down, and Triple and Series are on the case. Is that win 4? Avant now 3 turrets to 2. Pac-Man still split pushing in the bottom lane. He's actually fallen behind in CS. Series is 10 CS up ahead of this Trundle. It doesn't mean too much, but he hasn't acquired a nice lead for himself.
Yeah, they've actually been swapping who gets priority. I mean, Raid has got so much priority in farm so far at this stage versus Pac-Man, who's just been picking up long waves. As you can remember, he got swapped into the long lane really early into this game. Has, however, managed to pick up his first major item. You can see that Raid certainly is using the gold to good effect with that lethality build. So it's not a horrible thing so far. It's just something to keep an eye on, because you're right, you want your split pusher to generally be ahead of the tank.
Seems like he's looking towards the edge of the night as his next item pickup. Wouldn't be too surprised if Blinky decides to do the exact same thing. And obviously Frey's picked up his Sock Boots, so the Corki has the items that he absolutely needs.
See whether he goes towards something like a rapid fire cannon, or maybe if he goes like IE next. I like rapid fire cannon. I think it makes you harass really good in siege situations. I mean, you can just shoot out rockets willy-nilly and, you know, look to pick up that long-range poke through the rapid fire cannon. But, you know, we just keep talking about it. There needs to come a point in this game where, you know, they're within 2,500 gold, but they can't just give up free objectives. They need to actually start jockeying for that neutral vision and start picking up, you know, some objectives for themselves, because right now you can see Everything is defensive. As soon as they cross the river, they're completely blind. And that means that you can't split push at all. It means you can't go through 1-3-1. And it also means that Shelby's in behind the Trundle right now.
Going to get the slowdown with the Void Spikes. Void Assault still going through. Good damage onto Pac-Man, but that's all about it. Blinky now trying to run away from the curtain call. Oh, gonna get it locked down though. Kuda jumps over the wall, flash on him. Freya's been exhausted, but that's so much damage up towards Blinky. He's running away from the Void Leagues, but nom 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 they go. But it's not gonna be enough to take him down. Dodges one, can't dodge the second. Does get 2 flashes for it.
Simultaneous flashes coming out of Frey and Seb, but definitely on the same page. They wanted that kill. They wanted to pick up the team fight. Now they're looking for maybe a 5v5 teleport coming in.
They're going to try and go for that 5-on-4. Seb, first one to get locked down. 4-on-4 now as Abyss trying to run away. Kuda instead, 4-on-3. Pac-Man teleports into his team, getting decimated by Avant Garde.
Yeah, and that's one of those times that, you know, they overreach. They went for the turret. Good play, but they do pick up 2 deaths. So now it depends, can you stall out? Because it's still not a horrible trade. You give up your teleport, but you really need to be able to defend this turret.
Well, they're going to try and do what they can. They have Corky going back to base. Pac-Man's going to get locked down, takes a bit of damage. Oh, there goes the Kha'Zix. What are you doing over there, buddy? Tries to find Frey, forces him to stop his recall. Pac-Man going to do what he can to get him locked out. Just delays the recall time from Frey by about 10 seconds.
Yeah, it certainly does. And what that means is all of a sudden there's a wave bottom lane that potentially they can look to shove in a little bit deeper. Wave mid lane also was allowed to crash. So Dragon going to be up in 50 seconds. But that's overall a pretty positive result for Abyss. They got a mid lane turret. They got a kill. They lost 2 in response. But, you know, 2 for 1 in a turret, not all that horrible.
Here's Kuden going for that play out towards Blinky.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good flash engage out of Kuden. Credit to Blinky, who nailed a really nice ultimate. And then this is just, you know, 2 people, they really want the kill. They're sick of, you know, being shut out of this game, want to play forward League of Legends for the first time. So you have to definitely agree with the flashes going forward. Should they have potentially run up straight away and not all clumped together to allow this flash engagement series? Maybe, but as I said, like, this is one of those things that if you extend for objectives when you're already behind, it's going to happen. You just need to make sure that you're able to get something in response, which they did in that situation.
Now the Z package has been picked up by Frey. Third dragon of the game is going to spawn. It's Cloud Dragon this time. So Earth, Wind, and Fire taking effect on Summoner's Rift. And Seb looks to try and take this one down. Kuden helping him out to get this dragon. No contest coming out from Avant Garde. Happy to let this one go, but is there, or are there, I should say, as they look towards the Baron. No wards on this one. You see Pac-Man's trying to make his way over to kind of spot them out. Puts the pillar down. Curticol's going to come out, but I don't think it's enough. This Baron's going to fall. Avant Garde with the play to pick it up. But Abyss want to fight this. Blinky's been locked down. Series tries to go into the back lines. Pac-Man's going to use the subjugate on towards the Maokai. He's going to fall with ease. Avant just have to get the heck out of there.
Yeah, but 2 kills picked up. They're still trading objectives. They get the dragon for it as well. And they really just need to put the hard stall on now. So shove the lanes out. Make sure that Baron's going to be marching up against full creep waves. You know, go tend to that big wave that's starting to posture bottom. Really nicely done one more time from Abyss. They make the proactive call. They take the objective trade, and now they're looking to potentially even siege in mid, although this is a little bit overzealous.
Still about 3,000 gold down here. Abyss looking to try and do what they can while Blinky's still respawning with Series. Series does have teleport though. Have to be very careful for that flank. Good stun coming out from Triple as Seb has been locked down by the Karma. As Abyss now look for the retreat, trying to get the heck away from the base of Avant Garde.
And they will be able to. I mean, so once again, you know, push down mid lane. They actually get an objective against the Tide. As we have another look at this, I mean, they knew that the Baron was happening, and Blinky stepped forward to try and get some harass onto Raid, who identifies him as a target. Pac-Man actually flashes past everyone because he doesn't want to be picked off, uses the subjugate, and picks up a really nice kill onto the Maokai. As we said, in a single tank comp, you can't really have any counterplay against that.
Well, as we were looking through that replay, Avant Garde have made their way straight down mid lane, taking down the mid lane inner turret for themselves. With that Baron buff, now posturing towards bottom lane, which has a massive minion wave pushing.
Yeah, and that's why I said it might have been better to go bottom and actually like deal with this, because they're slowly building it. They're making sure no Baron buff is near it. And now, as it's about to crash, they'll empower it all and accelerate that towards the turret. And even though they have okay wave clear, there really isn't a designated wave clear right now on the side of Abyss, and they can't really approach such a huge wave.
Vanguard now sieging up the bottom lane inner turret. Abyss looking to try and do what they can, but Ivana decided to go for the engage. Series in the front lines. Blinky almost gets sniped off, but gets blocked by Jake. Good map movers coming out from the rest of the team. Ray is going to fall down really low, but Frey was the first to drop in this fight. The rest of Abyss, they just have to run for the hills here because Triple's gone back in. Looking for that fight, can't quite get the damage he wants, but he's still posturing for it. Chelby could jump in at any given time. Pac-Man's low, the last Dark Spear is going to come out, and Avant get 2 kills and a turret looking for the base. Blinky flashes, can't get the piercing arrow down onto the desperate target. Teleport's coming in from Series. They might try and end out this game.
Yeah, it certainly looks to be the case. I mean, they've got 2 members down. One of them is Frey, which is majority of the wave clear. Instead, they're just going to pick up the first inhibitor of the game, that Baron inhibitor, and back away. I mean, it's been such a back-and-forth game this time around with really nice trading coming out of Abyss, but you can see that when it comes to the team fights, the brute force is still just there for Avant Garde, and that was no different. I mean, you've got an absolutely monstrous Syndra again, who's just able to get out all the Dark Spheres and just put out the damage, really hurting the Abyss lineup.
5,000 gold in the lead for Avant Garde at the moment. Baron buff still available for them. That will run out shortly, though. They've gone back to base, picked up lots of items here. Void Staff already complete for Triple. You have the QSS being picked up by Blinky as well, upgrading his boots for that bit of extra movement speed. Jakey's got his redemption as well. Even a QSS for Chelby. None of their threats want to be locked down. Frozen Heart as well as Banshee's being picked up by Series. That's going to be a beefy tree heading into the front lines. Resistances will get stripped by Pac-Man. But if last fight is any testament to what this tree can do, he's not going to worry too much about that.
And I mean, it's only a percentage of resistances, right? And Maokai still gets pretty tanky to be able to withstand a lot of that. And it also means that the team needs to turn around and kill him within that, I guess, window where he has been, you know, nullified a little bit. And the danger, whilst all of that is happening, is, you know, Triple is free hitting your backline, Blinky is free hitting the backline, Chelby is already, you know, assassinated someone. So even though there is that pseudo counter, it's still not, you know, really easy to execute upon if you are the Abyss lineup.
I like the adaptation coming out from Kuden though. He's gone for the redemption. It's going to synergize well with Seb's Locket. He's already picked up. So being more of a support with his Malzahar here, not opting to go for the damage.
Yeah, really has just used it for the lockdown. Didn't really go for heavy trading in the laning phase. That's what we kind of expect out of Kuden as a player, and you know, it's definitely not a bad item to be able to have on your team.
He's having a much better game this time around on his Malzahar as Abyss look for the fight again, but it's just Series who tanks up all the damage from the Curtain Call. Pac-Man's even teleported in towards this fight. Avant, kite back nicely, poke out Seb.
They still have the package out of Frey, so they can look for like something tricky here if they want to. However, it looks like it has just been successfully kited out.
Blinky throws the arrow into the wall. Not quite where he was aiming for.
You don't know that. Maybe that was exactly what he was aiming for.
Hit the trees! They're hiding. As you see the package still available for Frey. So has a little bit of time with that. Can pull the trigger if he decides to. Abyss, they have bottom lane pushing for them, in a sense, thanks to Pac-Man being down there previously. That will slowly push back for Avant, but they've got some time to work with here. They're holding off the wave very well.
Yeah, you can see that Frey actually calls don't fight. They all back away. Instead, maybe going to go towards that dragon, see if they can pick another objective up for themselves. They're still within like 5-ish thousand gold, 5.5, 6,000 gold of the lineup right now. They need to make sure that they don't send everyone towards it. Seb can probably solo. He's not going to get back in time. They might have just given away another free inhibitor.
Well, Pillar being used here by Pac-Man to slow down the minion wave, but it's not going to be long enough because only now are the rest of Abyss grouping up. This turret is going to fall nice and fast. Series going to be the first one to lock down, subjugate, stripping his resistance, but Seb is gone. The leap from Joe is going to take him down. Pac-Man's trying to get into the backlines, but Kuda's being jumped on by the bug. Throwing out the spears left, right, and center as Triple takes another one down. Can't get the stun locked down, but Avant have already taken out 2 members of Abyss, and they're charging towards the Nexus here.
Yeah, they certainly are. Super Creep's already there. Ultimate comes out of Raid to see if he can deter, but it does not look like it's going to be enough, Fish.
Let's see if they can throw down anything else to try and stop Avant from going for it. Joey's in the backlines, gets one with Blinky. Pac-Man fan just watches as his stacked backline gets absolutely destroyed. The Nexus turrets are going to fall. Nexus is now left open. Frey's been locked down. Shelby flashes in and out to pick up a kill. Pac-Man just watches helplessly as he gets taken down as well. And Avant Garde pick up the 2-0 against Abyss.
Yeah, you can see standing captain Blinky, very happy with his plays, Jake. He's a little bit sick, so, you know, a little bit more reserved, but that's still a win.
Kobe's happy with him.
Really nicely played out of AV. I mean, that 2-0 was really never in doubt. That's back-to-back really impressive weeks,
Yep.
and they just played that exactly how they needed to. Slow, methodical, triples, finally having the kind of League of Legends performances that we expect out of this guy. And they're coming together as a team. I mean, Blinky's new, Series is new, and it's starting to look good.
I think what you mentioned, they're bouncing back nice and strong for Avant Garde, you know, dropping their match to Legacy in their first week and then picking up 2 quick, decisive 2-0s. They must be feeling pretty happy about themselves. I mean, if you listen to Avant live, their first week weren't very happy with their performance against Legacy. Now they should be feeling pretty solid about the OPL.
I mean, but what are you going to do? You've just moved into a gaming house. This is a new experience for a lot of them. As I said, 2 new members onto the team. It does take time for this to grow, and I think that there are promising sides. Still things that you'll go away and VOD review the crap out of in that 2-0. I mean, it wasn't necessarily like the quickest, and their decisive calls, you know, were lacking at sometimes. They were trading objectives when they were ahead, which you never like. But one more time, like, they pick very smart compositions. I mean, pretty much front to back, and they were able to execute on it. So they should be happy with another 2-0.
And executed to get that 2-0 in that match. And that's all the matches we have for today. But let's send it back to the analyst desk one more time to break down the day.
Thanks, guys. Well, there we have it. 2-0 to Avant Garde. Inero, Mendrix. Let's start with just where did Frey go? I mean, he was trying to show up in that second game. He kind of had an all right champ pool, and then just didn't work.
Yeah.
So well, the big thing that happened there, I don't want to take into it, is Shelby was in that game. He was sitting around that mid lane the entire time. Every single time Seb wanted to make a move on towards to help out Frey and take out Triple, Shelby just showed up, managed to get the extra kills on top of it, and really from there they shut down Frey.
Yeah, and you know, I guess we've been talking a lot about Frey. When we upstairs talking, we were chatting about how maybe potentially is he really good, or is Abyss just not showing up? If you do you think Frey is good enough to be drafted into any other team in the OPL?
Yeah, definitely. Like, when we were creating TM, like, Frey was actually one of the top contenders. Like, he only just fell short of Choo Choo's joining the team. And I still thought then that he was, like, a very good mid laner, and he had a definite place in OPL in the future. So, like, it hurts to kind of see him not having success and not getting wins, but he's still showing up really well. I think they just need to figure out a way to actually make the team work. Like, there's always a way to win with the team, and I just think Abyss haven't found it yet. But they have a strong point to look at, and they can build off of that at least.
Well, across the rift, our fans of AV are going to get annoyed if we don't talk about them as well. So where are the strong points in that game for you, Mendrix?
Really, for them, for Avant Garde, they were playing solidly across the entire map, and it really was off the back of Shelby making sure he could get his initial laners stronger. If you look into the first game, the big thing that happened there was he was able to get Sarah's going by being in the right place at the right time, sort of matching Seb every single time he wanted to go for a gank. Same thing happened in the second game. He wanted to try and attack onto Triple, but Shelby was there and made sure that instead of Frey getting ahead, ended up being Triple who was actually with the advantage.
Inera, do you agree?
Yeah, I think with Avant, like, they're actually showing that they have a really strong roster together that's playing well. I think their top half of the map is insanely good for what I was expecting. I think Ceres, Shelby, and Triple are playing really well. Triple's very consistent. Ceres has shown that he's able to, like, pop off in these types of games and actually do something big, and Shelby's showing to be another consistent part. So I think they're looking really good.
All right, well, let us throw it over to Jake, Spawn Tiberius right now, who's hanging out with Blinky.
Thank you so much, Hingers. I am standing beside the second half of the Avant bottom lane that I finally get to interview, Blinky. That was a really impressive performance. I want to talk to you first about Varus, because I think that you've played, like, what, 6 out of 7 games or something like that now? You seem to have settled on the lethality build. Is Varus the best AD carry in the meta right now, and why?
I definitely think Varus is the best along with Jhin, but my coach seems to think Varus is a lot better than Jhin, so I get forced on it regardless. And it's whatever my coach picks, so...
Oh, so you're listening to the coach there, and is the lethality build? I'm a Bork man. Like, come on, bring the Bork build back.
With the new 7.2 changes on lethality, it's a lot better than what Bork will ever be. It's broken.
All right, there you heard it first. I want to talk to you. Everyone, when we think about Avant, historically, has thought about the top half of Avant being so strong. I mean, that's no different this year. But it feels like you and Jake have really gelled well as the duo lane, and now you're not really getting much love from Shelby, but you're holding your own down there. How is it laning with Jake, and how have you found that so far?
Our laning with Jake has been quite good. We've been friends for like a long time, so putting our like game knowledge together and beating most bot lanes is quite good.
And I want to talk to you about the other rookie on your side. I mean, you come in, obviously, first split with AV, but series. I mean, this guy wasn't even in Challenger Series, and he's shown up. I mean, solo killing, tally, flares, had a very good match against Pac-Man today, especially on the Aurelia. What is it with this kid? He just seems so good.
He's definitely a carry player, so we try and not put him on tanks, but he's definitely like up-and-coming player that we'll pull out.
And when I was talking to Jake last week, final question, he didn't want to call the season too early. He was like, you know, we're still a new team. We're still growing. We're still trying to get it together. Obviously, you've been on XL5 in the past and, you know, able to qualify in. How good is this Avant lineup? I mean, Pinch seems pretty confident as you coach, like walking around. Is this a team that can definitely push for that gauntlet run towards the end of the split?
I definitely think this is the strongest roster I've ever played on. So I think we can push top 4, if not higher.
All right, there you go. Heard it here first. That is, of course, Blinky. He picks up another 2-0 for his team. That's going to be 6 points in total for AV in the last couple of weeks. However, we're going to throw it back to the desk with Hingers to close out the night.
There we go, 6 points in the last 2 weeks and top 4 or higher, as Blinky says. So, gentlemen, let us take a look now at our winner of the Radiant Medal. It is the MVP as voted on by your casters, and it is going to series, which means he's picked up 2 of these in the last 2 weeks. Now, Mendrix, what was your favourite series play of, or the thing about series in this series?
Boo! You're like, series in this series. Specifically, what I like about him is he played both those roles really well. So when it came to him being on that carry laner, he was bullying out Shen the entire game. There's really not much that Pac-Man could do in that particular situation, and he split pushed really well. The other thing that he did great in the second game specifically was that he was able to really know the limits of Maokai. And what I mean by that is every single time he decided to go in for or jump in for a kill or jump in for an engage, he seemed to escape with just a little bit of HP left, and that was even calculating the losing all the HP and armor shred that came from the Trundle ultimate.
All right, well, let's take a look at the tally for the Radiant Medal. And Anera, I want to get your thoughts on this, because as we bring it up, there's been some people who have won it twice, I think, and other people who have only won it once. In fact, well, it's just, Seri should be on 2 points, I believe, but Chippy's as well on the 2 points. Are there any people on there who you think are standing out and could be the winner overall over the split?
I'm not really sure who's going to pop out as the winner over the split, to be honest. Like, I think everyone on there is like a really strong player, obviously, and it's kind of hard to tell. It's just going to see who can stay like the most consistently like well performing the entire split.
Only into week 3, we've got a long way to go. Series there, picking up his second Radiant Medal. All right, let's bring up the schedule for tomorrow as we close out today. You can see your viewing for tomorrow. We'll start off with Chiefs v XL5. Chiefs after their first loss, and XL5 after their after their first win, and then Tainted Minds, 1 win and 1 loss, going up against the Direwolves, who are as well on 1 win and 1 loss. As always, you can find out more about the OPL via the podcast, #OPL Show. You can find it on iTunes and also SoundCloud. It's myself, Jake Spontaberry, and Matthew Fish. Stuart breaking down the games and just frankly trolling each other. It's, I think, a lot of fun. I think you would enjoy it as well. Rate and review it in iTunes. It helps other people find out about it. But I think that is all from us here today. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to my guests, Mendrix and Inero. We'll see you both very, very soon. And that's all from us. Goodbye.
So he's going to try to teleport out, has to cancel, that's a big mistake, and the big old Pac-Man's going to get taken down by Triple. They're going to try and go for that 5-on-4 set. First one to get locked down, 4-on-4 now as Abyss trying to run away. Kudu instead, 4-on-3. Pac-Man teleports into his team, getting decimated by Avant. Yep. Puts the pillar down, Vertical's going to come out, but I don't think it's enough. This Baron's going to fall. Avant with the play to pick it up, but Abyss want to fight this. Blinky's been locked down, Series tries to go into the back line. Pac-Man's going to use turrets of Subjugate on towards the Meowkai. He's going to fall with ease. Avant just have to get the heck out of there. This turret is going to fall nice and fast. Siri's going to be the first one to lock down Subjugate, stripping his resistance, but Seb is gone. The leap from Joey's going to take him down. Pac-Man's trying to get into the back lines, but Kuda's being jumped on by the bug. Throwing up the spears left, right, and center as Triple takes another one down. Can't get the stun locked down, but Avant have already taken out 2 members of Abyss, and they're charging towards the Nexus here. Let's see if they can throw down anything else to try and stop Avant from going for it. Joey's in the backlines, gets one with Blinky. Pac-Man just watches as his stacked backline gets absolutely destroyed. The Nexus turrets are gonna fall. Nexus is now left open. Frey's been locked down. Shelby flashes in and out to pick up a kill. Pac-Man just watches helplessly as he gets taken down as well. And Avant pick up the 2-0 against